WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have the new bottle of Royal Brackla Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 18 years, and sherry cask finish Palo Cortado. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Aromatic citrus complex, not in chilled filtered, natural color, 46% ABV. 113 euros. Now look at this. Tissue paper wrapped. Wow, I haven't seen that for a long time. So excuse me for the rustling of the paper here. All right, very, very good. So you do know that we're a little bit higher class whiskey here. What am I going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to the ding, ding, ding Royal Brackla 12-year-old new bottling. So also non-chill filtered, also natural color, also 46%, and we are around the price range about 53, 55 euros over here. This is 113 to 120, so let's just say 115 euros. Now the biggest difference is going to be the color. You can notice this immediately. So this is the Palo Cortado 18-year-old, and this is the 12-year-old. This is Oloroso sherry. This is Palo Cortado. Very, very brief history of sherry. So sherry has to be made in a certain region in Spain, number one. Number two, they take, for these sherry types, they take a Palomino, a white wine grape, and they make a wine out of it. Hey, the wine you drink, white wine, right? So, and in order to keep as much sugar as possible in there, they often then actually add a type of brandy. Brandy is just wine that has been distilled. So it's instead of grain neutral spirit, it is grape neutral spirit. All right. So brandy. And what they do is they can actually put in the barrel and allow a layer of yeast to form on the top, which is called flor. And for example, Palo Cortado at the very beginning has that flor. Fino has it, Amontillado has it, and so on. And then some magical reason that that flor, that yeast, disappears, breaks down. And then it's actually an oxidated white wine, just like Oloroso is. Oloroso from the very beginning is basically just an oxidated white wine. That's it. All right, and so the longer you have it in contact with the air, and also the barrels used are very important for the color here, the more color you have as well. I mean, hey, this is wood color, and this is maybe oxidation of that white wine color. This, on the other hand, the Palo Cortado, that used to be magically, they didn't know why it happened. Today we just add brandy. You add brandy, more alcohol, the yeast is killed, and you have a Palo Cortado. Now I often love Palo Cortado. That's one of my favorite seasoned sherry casks to use for the whiskey industry. Oloroso, I'm almost getting sick and tired of it. I've had literally hundreds of different whiskeys now with Palo Cortado. I'm sorry, with Oloroso sherry, and after a while, I just get sick of it. At the moment, I've categorized a lot of these Oloroso seasoned casks into the new. They're very, very syrupy, dark. About a little bit older, maybe in the last 20 to 10 years, those are called the sulfur casks, because they would actually transport them usually with normal containers from Spain, heat over to Scotland, cold, and they would put a sulfur candle into them to protect them from actually that wine, that the sherry from spoiling, and that sulfur gets its way into the whiskey, and I can taste it. And then there were the really good old ones. So you have the good sherry, you have the sulfur sherry, and the new often is called the syrup sherry. My personal classifications, I might revise those in the future, but that's how I do it. So this is a sherry. This is a syrup sherry, and this is a hopefully good sherry. All right, the Palo Cortado, 18 years. Going over to my nice little book, the 2022 is not out yet in Germany. This is the beginning of October when I'm doing this, and it's going to come out in the middle of October. But what I thought was very, very interesting, Royal Brackla belongs to one of the 5 malt distilleries of the Dewar's Group. If you're watching from America, you know about Dewar's. Actually, to be very honest, here in Germany, we hardly ever see Dewar's. It's one of the things is I had to actually look for the Dewar's to find it, and you have it on every basically supermarket shelf and so on. And of course, Dewar's is owned by Bacardi. All right, so John Dewar's and Son. And Stephanie McLeod came to the company back in 1998, and she has been the master blender and the malt master since 2006. And I think she's done a fantastic job. I think she's done a really, really great job here. Royal Brackla has a fermentation of about 70 hours, which is good. They also have here, they're running full capacity 24/7, basically about 50 weeks a year. They have a long force shots, 30 minutes. They have slow distillation. They have an ascending line arm, and the house style of Brackla should be elegant and fruity. All right, so let's see if we can get this here. Interesting. This is a little shy. Now it doesn't bam, but it's something there. So the very first thing I got was like a tangerine, a yellow plum. I get a little bit of a chalky mineral moment, and I get a lot of like a oh, I'm not even sure if this is an English word or not. Mirabelle is what we call those in English or in German. Yeah, in English they're called Mirabelle. In German we call it Mirabelle. A little bit more of the Italian moment. It's just it's a small yellow plum. I mentioned the words yellow plum already. Basically the same thing. Do I get 18 years of age on the nose? Definitely not. Over here, the 12-year-old. Yeah, syrup sherried. Little bit of a creme brulee that's been a little bit too long under the flame. A little bit of almost a light burnt butterscotch, and it's not really the typical oloroso notes that I have here for the berries, unfortunately. That's a new sherry, new and improved. Nope, not improved. I like this on the nose. All right, cheers. 46%, non-chilled filtered, natural color, not bad actually, everything. Now, hello, Bacardi. Hello, doers. Yes, your website says new website coming. I clicked on the QR code, went there. One thing we'd like to know that's not on here, how many months or years or decades did it spend in those Palo Cortado casks? You're doing a great job of transparency, but nowhere do you tell us about how long it was in the casks. That would be something that I would like to have. Age for a minimum of 18 years in selected oak casks, sherry cask finished. Now, of course, maybe one of the problems is it changes. Maybe the first time you put it into those Palo Cortado casks, you left it in there for 3 months. The second time you left it in for 9 months, and the third time you left it in there for 12 months. And you don't want to change your tube each time. All right. I don't know. I don't know. All right. So we still the geeks would like to have at least 6 months. Just write that down for the next batch if that's your problem. At least 6 months, and I'm going to be happy. If you have it in there for longer, no one's going to sue you. Cheers. Hmm. 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 Now the thing that I adore, I don't use that word very often, adore about this whiskey is the finish. That finish, that's a powerhouse of wonderful flavors. Now, at the beginning, it's like, okay, well, look, it's a little bit of a normal single malt. Is it 18 years? Don't think so. And then we get a little bit of, I get a little bit of the heat. The alcohol kicks in. Hard to believe it's 18 years of age. And there's a little bit of a mineral moment, a little bit of a chalky type of talcum moment. And then I swallow, and it's like this burst of flavors. I think I was in the 80s or so on. There was Starburst, or Sunburst, whatever those little the candies were, and you had this explosion of flavor. I love that finish. I'm gonna survive this. I'm gonna go through the valley of death, and I'm gonna come to the green pastures at the end. Trying to paraphrase Psalm 23. Sorry for that, guys. That's very good, and it's a long lasting. That Palo Cortado, that very bright, that yellow plum, that Mirabelle, that tangerine moment. I like. I'm gonna give this actually a B minus, B minus. All right, now the question of the day: how much should an 18-year-old whiskey cost today? All right, so in today's market, what should we expect to have to pay for a standard 18-year-old whiskey? If you ask Glenfarclas, baby, basically in the very, very lowest end of the range for a single malt scotch, you're going to pay, at least over here in Germany, about 80 euros. You're going to ask Highland Park, you're going to be about 120 euros. You ask Macallan, I think you're 340 at the moment. All right, so they're way out there in left field. So this is 113 euros, basically in between. It's not overly priced. Is it a bargain? No. But I'm afraid that we're going to have to be paying around this 100, 110, 120 euro range for 18-year-old whiskeys in the future. At least we still have 18-year-old whiskeys. Go look at look at Japan. They're not going to have them for another 10, 15, 20 years. Um, Japan got bought out, and they kind of were sleeping at the wheel, and they didn't realize that there was a whiskey boom going on. Um, Bacardi, Dewar's in this case, they've always had stock, they've always had things there, and they try to regulate the market with supply and demand through the adjustment screw of pricing. And so those of us that have deeper pockets and are willing to pay that price, we get to have an 18-year-old. Those of us that don't have those deep pockets or don't have whiskey clubs to share a bottle with, in this case, basically, I built my own online whiskey club, and I share this bottle with different people, and therefore I only pay for the 5 cl each time, and therefore I can taste these whiskeys and I can share the videos. We will probably not be buying very many 18-year-old whiskeys in the future, unless, of course, we have the appropriate funds. All right, so value for money, a C to C minus. All right, so B to B minus for taste. I really like. Oh, by the way, add just a few drops of water. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get even a more of a burst of flavor, almost from the very beginning. Water helps this. All right, so it's 18 years old. If I were Ralphie, I'd say 18 minutes in the glass, 18 seconds on the palate. Mm-hmm. 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 Ah, and that explosion of flavor is still there. Very, very nice. I like. I like. Now, I got some very critical comments about my review of the Royal Brackla 12. There are some people, at least over here in Germany, that said, Jason, this is one of the best whiskeys out there for that price and for that age. And it's like, no, it's not. I mean, it's average to it's average. It's okay. It's not really wow. Put this in a lineup of 10 different whiskeys, 12 years old, sherried. Don't tell me the price. Don't tell me what it is. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put this in the middle. It's in the middle of the field type of whiskey. It's not a wow whiskey. It's not a Caledonia from Edredauer. It's not a Glendronach 12. It's not a Glenallachie 12 and so on. These are fantastic sherried whiskeys. This is a middle of the road type of thing. Are there worse? Yes. Was the old Royal Brackla 12 worse? Yes. But for that amount of money, 53 euros, 55 euros you have to pay for this whiskey, it's not worth it. All right? I'm so sorry. I would actually have rather one of these than two of these. Putting it very, very simply, all right? So, tiny little taste here. Cheers. Hmm. What I get each and every time are very old tire casks that have been tried to be masked by a sherry type of flavor. And the sherry is not the type of oloroso that I would like to prefer. It has that burnt wood character to it. Um, is it bad? Definitely not. Is it a sea whiskey? Definitely. And so that's my opinion. Other people love this whiskey. Hey, good for you. Enjoy it, buy it, share it, evangelize others about it. I am not going to be evangelizing about the Royal Brackla 12 anytime soon. The 18, maybe. Caledonia 12, definitely. Glenallachie 12, yes. Glendronach 12, still I'm going to evangelize about it. And there are a couple other really good things out there that I'm going to just go, these are things you have to try. But the Royal Brackla is not one of them. All right, so first question is, what is the price of an 18-year-old whiskey in the 2021 market, in your opinion? Is it around the 100 to 120 euro mark, 120 pounds, maybe to the 130 to 150 to $60 range? Where are we at that? And what other 18-year-olds can you recommend? I said 18-year-olds. I'm going to say 18-year-old Scotch. My recommendation still, and has been and will continue to be, is the Chivas Regal. This is the 18-year-old. Now, this is then from Chivas Regal. So, from Pernod Ricard. This is a French company that owns it. I thoroughly enjoy the 18-year-old today. This is maybe the third, fourth, fifth bottle I've had so far. It's still good stuff. My personal opinion, I like them, I can enjoy them, and I can recommend them. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for also telling other people about this channel where I review rare and exotic whiskeys, sometimes rarer, sometimes exotic, sometimes mainstream. And thank you for all your comments. If you ever need to contact me, WhiskyJason, one word, @gmail.com. Bye-bye.